Alright folks, so I'm going to show you how to change these window panes out. This house was probably built at least 50 years ago, probably back in the 60s if I had to guess. This siding that's on here, just FYI, you're going to run into this, about 98% sure this is asbestos. They don't make this anymore, of course. It's really bad about chipping down along the bottom, as you can see all the way around here. As long as you leave it alone, it's fine, but it gets brittle over the years. And a lot of houses that were built back in the 60s, early 70s were built with asbestos material, so always keep that in mind when you do demo on a house from that era. Tile on the floor, laminate kind of tile, siding. There's all kinds of stuff that was built with asbestos back then, so keep that in mind. So you can just barely see it here. There's a crack here in this window. What we're going to do is take these storm windows off. There's a handful of straight screws, which I hate with a passion. I'm going to take those off and take this aluminum casing off, and then I'll show you how to replace each one of these as a separate window pane. And there's a wooden grid, and then they put the panels in there and use either wood caulk or caulk is what I've seen used. I don't know what they used originally because I wasn't alive in the 60s, but I've used wood putty and caulk to backfill it, and I'll end up using white caulk. Alright, so I got the storm window off. It's just a handful of screws that holds it on. Now you've got access to the window. This is the pane that's broke. You can see it's cracked there. So what you'll do is get you a razor knife and just chip this out. See how easy it comes out? Just be careful not to break the panes around it. And these generally are, it's, like I said, 40 years old, so it's usually pretty easy to get this stuff to come out. Alright, once you have that out, you don't have to get all the way across the top. You'll see that little yellow, or that little triangle? That's a piece of metal that's shoved back in here. There's 4 of them. There's 2 on each side. So what you'll need to do is take you straight, razor knife probably works as well as anything, and bend those back. That's part of what holds the glass in. And just clean it up. Now you can likely get on the inside and push that out. So, make sure you have a box close to throw all your scraps in. sure you're wearing gloves because this stuff is will get all over you. It's probably got lead paint on it. All you sissies out there. So now you just take your razor knife and clean that up. We'll clean up around here, set our pane of glass in there and bend those metal tabs back over and then caulk it. And I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so I actually had plexiglass at home, and that's what I used instead of glass. A little more forgiving, you can bend it a little more. It's just as good as the glass that's in here. This isn't a double pane window or anything, so more than likely whoever buys this is likely going to be upgrading the windows at some point anyway. This is just to get by it. So let me take you through this real quick. Put your glass pane in and use a thick bead of white caulk. I'm going to clean this up. You put it in, take your putty knife and run it down and around the whole thing. I'll show you the finished one back here. Phone keeps overheating, so it's stopping. So that's what it looks like when it's finished. Caulked, sealed all the way around. I got to clean up that bottom a little bit. It looks just like the rest of them. Brand new paint in. That's it, pretty simple.